Also, she is a founder and TCP chair of IEEE Vicon EZ 2015. She has around 20 years of experience of leading impactful technical, professional, educational, industrial, women empowerment, and humanitarian technology projects at national and international levels. In addition to that, she received many awards and honors from various generals for her outstanding achievements. Welcome, ma'am. Now I hand over the session to our beloved chief guest, Dr. Celia Shahnaz.
Thank you very much for a humble introduction. Hope I am audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's a great honor to be here, and thank you, Ramco Institute of Technology, for arranging this conference and based on the discussion on timely initiatives that is important for research. And that's why my title is Research and Innovation, Smart Technologies to Support Sustainable Development Goals. So, so already I have been introduced by the announcer, but still as a brief, I have been working around 20 years and did my PhD from Canada as a Canadian Commonwealth Scholars. I am part of many IEEE societies such as Signal Processing Society, Engineering and Medicine Biology Society, Robotics and Automation Society, Industrial Application Society, Society on Social Implications on Technology. I really inspire everyone to be part of at least one technical society that IEEE is offering. It is very important. IEEE is having more than 39 technical societies and councils to gather your knowledge. It's a great honor that I serve 2020 New Initiative Committee, serve as chair of Women Inside Working Group, and member of IEEE Signal Processing Society Women in Signal Processing Global Committee, member of IEEE Women in Engineering, senior member Elevation Drive. I served as communication chair of IEEE Global Site Steering Committee, serving as Power and Energy Society Women in Power Region 10 representative, and served as IEEE Workshop Committee Chair 2016 WA Chair of Region 10, and founder advisor of IEEE WI Affinity Group. So this is a great honor to talk in front of you. I really request you to visit my Google Scholar citation. It is very important because if you look at my Google Scholar citation from 2013 to 2020, it is always an increasing curve. That will give you a motivation that you are working a work which is significant and which is moving in the positive direction, and people are using it as a research. People are using and citing it. So let me share the work, the emerging technology that I have published in transaction on audio, speech, and language processing, along with my supervisor, who is a fellow of IEEE. It is a fundamental frequency estimation from the noisy speech. It is very important because this emerging technology can be used in many applications where it is related to where it is important to find the pitch or fundamental frequency from noise. And you can see the citation which is published in 2012. It is in 2019, still people are citing it. That gives you motivation and drive that you are moving in the right direction. And there are a lot of hearing aid impaired people who are not having hearing aid devices, and for them it is important to propose a method, speech enhancement or noise reduction, so that such technologies can be employed in a low cost manner in such devices. You look at the citation, it is published in 2014. in IEEE transaction on audio, speech, and language processing, and you look at the citation, even in 2019, it has many, many citations. It's a work of three generations. My student, Tawhidul Islam, who finished his PhD from Texas A&M University, and for this work, he received his PhD admission. Now he's working as a postdoc in a Stanford University, USA, and it is also work of myself and my supervisor. So work of three generation emerging technologies. And I work in biomedical signal processing, and it is important for us to remove noise from ECG signal, and so that those signals can be used for for arrhythmia detection or problem detection for easy diagnosis. And this is the work, highest cited work of myself. It is published in a high impact photo journal 2012, and still into 2020 people are still citing it, and it is half of 2020 only. So it is very important. It will be very happy to know that people are nowadays using artificial neural network and machine learning. So our student has developed a capsule network for abnormality detection in musculoskeletal radiographs. So that this is an undergrad thesis student, which is a humbling part of the story. So this undergrad thesis now published in IEEE Access with impact factor more than 4. It can be used for helping the doctors for easy diagnosis rather than looking at the subjective evaluation only. And if you look at the different parts of India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, or any part of IEEE region 10, a lot of women and children are having skin cancer. But it is very difficult to know it from the visual observation, but using the digital images of those skin cancer, it is very much possible by using the machine learning technique by detect what type of skin cancer it is. It will help the dermatologist to take decision very fast and very quickly. And this is another work done by my student who is now doing PhD in Princeton University, a fast heart rate estimation from PPG signal. It is very important for personalized healthcare. And if you want to apply your machine learning technique to the power and energy area, you can follow the work, application of electrical network frequency of digital recordings for location stamp verification. If you speak and your audio data is recorded, within the audio data, your electrical network frequency will be lying all the time. So based on the audio data, using the machine learning technique, you can really identify the person who is speaking belong to which grid. It is very much important for security and surveillance. It is very much emerging area. Let us now introduce to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, like no poverty, zero hunger, good health, well-being, quality education, gender equality. These are the goals with which our research and innovation should be related. Let me introduce the work, blood glucose estimation. Blood glucose estimation by diabetic patient in a common phenomenon, but those are invasive. And sometimes it is expensive and it is not wearable. So using a simple circuitry, Raspberry Pi supported by power bank, PPG for collecting the signal from the skin, and using ordinance sensors, it is like a wearable watch. But the problem is overcome. It is not at all invasive anymore, and it is non-invasive, and it can be used by any person. And this is a bilirubin level quantification and jaundice detection. Look at the structure. Although my students are not from mechanical engineering, but develop this structure. And for bilirubin level, usually blood needs to be taken by invasive way, but this is a non-invasive way of finding the bilirubin level and detect the jaundice from taking the sclera image. That means finding the yellowness of the image. You can really find the bilirubin level, and which is very important because a lot of neonatal jaundice we have in our countries, and it is very injurious to take blood from those neonatal patients. This is like a personalized cardio healthcare, and it is like a wrist card, and you can get the idea of heart rate, blood pressure, and glucose using the wrist card. If you want to know about these papers, please search it in IEEE Explore. You can get a detailed idea of the implementation. And now if you look at the analog stethoscope, it is sometimes very difficult to get the lub and dub sound of the heart. But this digital stetophone is not only low cost, it can help you to have advice of doctors remotely, and it is very useful for personalized healthcare for a senior citizen who is unable to work and who is unable to go to the doctors, and he or she can have this from home and connect with the doctors for quick diagnosis. And I like to work with the disabled people, but I want to tell them different able people because I want to help them using the technology. This is the wheelchair. If you Google the wheelchair, it will be costing around 2,000 US dollar. But this wheelchair is costing around 200 US dollar. At the same time, it will provide you destination mapping and intelligent control features, and it can be controlled by your hand, by your voice, or by your eye gaze. So there are senior citizens in our country, and as a children, we are living apart and we are living close to our home, our office. So sometimes our senior citizen, like our parents and our in-laws, living alone, and it is a common phenomena of falling down in the washroom or somewhere. So from my personal story, I really motivated my group of students to devise something which is wearable and which they will feel comfortable. But if you give them a smart stick, they will not take it. So this is very important for smart technology. When you will develop it, it is important to let other people know that they are using it. Is it acceptable by the society or the community for whom you are developing it? So this is a smart hat that will provide you safe and smooth walking assistant and avoid falling down from and give you some message so that I really can know that some help is needed by them. And this is an automatic injecting device. We have always in our countries less number of doctors compared to the less number of doctors compared to the I should say compared to the number of patients. So this is an automatic injection device that will give you audio video facilities, so that from image processing you can decide where is the precise vein, and then you can decide the angle of the injection and then push it. So that's a very important thing. For this type of injection can be used for mass vaccination where it is needed, this mass vaccination. And now we have already talked about a wheelchair where it can be controlled by hand, eye gaze, or by voice. But think about a disabled person who is unable to talk, who is unable to see and who is unable to move, no hand, nothing. So, but he or she has brain signals. So, this is a low cost electroencephalogram based wheelchair with advanced control feature. So, these are the things we have to really think about while developing emerging technologies to support the communities. I really work with the, I really work with the, I should say that with the people who cannot see. Actually, I'm very much worried about these people who cannot see. So it is a text to braille scanner with ultra low cost refreshable braille display. There are different things. You can see the base module having microcontroller, Bluetooth receiver and battery, and there are dual stepper motor driver, and there is extension module can be cascaded to produce more letters. That is important, and this is very important to ensure education, entertainment, and accessibility of a blind person. It is very, very important, at least for the education, newspaper reading. And think about a scenario, because for our case, the mothers are the first teachers. Think about someone whose mother is also blind, and think about a blind child, blind mother. We should not deny their education, because this is the way technology can be developed to help them. And I also work with the people who are unable to speak. So there are a lot of sign language in the literature, but majority are based on English language. But for our case, we are Bengali language speaker. So only nation who actually fought to secure their language in 1952. And that's why we, as an engineer, I wanted to do something that is related to our language, because if we don't develop this Bengali Sign Language for alphabet recognition for deaf and dumb community, and then a big portion of our community will be deprived of using education or having access in the restaurant for ordering a food or going to the library to order a book. So that's why this image-based Bengali Sign Language alphabet recognition we have really tried, where we have used VGG90 neural network that you can see, so that we can combine the emerging technology for such a for such a an alphabet recognition for people who are unable to see. So now it is COVID-19. There are a lot of habits our grandfathers, grandmothers have taught us. This is an automatic hand sanitizer, although it is simple, but it has to be done by the mass people, and it has to be done with a compact design, so that even after the pandemic is over, we can transform such devices to the rural schools where there are no soap. So we should think beyond the COVID, and COVID-19 has provided us that opportunity to brainstorm to devise such emerging technologies. Let me share this IEEE philanthropic programs, because I work in IEEE side. I served as IEEE side communications chair and was involved with newsletter publication. I really request you to visit IEEE site Facebook page, IEEE site website, and read the IEEE site newsletter. I was involved in launching the Humans of IEEE site, where I have interviewed a lot of hardworking volunteers who actually involved in humanitarian technology, have done many meaningful projects for the community, and there are a lot of funding for IEEE site projects. If you want to know who can be IEEE site members, how to form IEEE site, and what are the IEEE site project calls, please visit the IEEE site website and become part of IEEE site Facebook page. IEEE site support projects up to 20,000 US dollar, and there are IEEE humanitarian activity committee projects, and you can apply for projects up to 60,000 US dollar. And I really request you to visit IEEE HAC Humanitarian Activity Committee Education Forum Facebook group to know what is IEEE humanitarian activity and how you can choose a project that is scalable and that is implementable and that is sustainable. These are the different criteria which is important to know, that when you are taking an emerging technology project, it should be connected to a community, and it should support billions of people at the bottom of pyramid, not at the privileged people lying at the top of the pyramid. And it has to be cost effective. Even the funding is over, you should be able to run it. That means it is sustainable. And not only that, you cannot concentrate on a technology just to provide a solution to one village. It can be used to provide the same solution in any village in the world. That is called scalability. Okay, so I must focus on how you can implement your emerging projects, how you will get funding. If you look at the IEEE signal processing website, and you can see there are winter school application available. In 2019, I led an application and won 5,000 US dollar for a proposal on multimodal signal processing winter school. There are a total 70 participants, and industry and academic experts from 5 different countries, Malaysia, India, USA, Uruguay, Bangladesh, have trained our people for future directions and smart technologies employing signal processing, machine learning, and other things. And this is an important thing, collaboration between section and IEEE signal processing chapter. This is very important. I'm the founder of IEEE SPIXCon 2019. There are a lot of emerging technologies have been presented here. We can collaborate with your university to jointly organize such conference. And this is IEEE BASICCon. You know, this is between section and engineering and medicine biology chapter. I was also co-founder of this conference, and you will be happy to know that because of the contribution of the BASICCon 2019, our EMBS chapter has become the outstanding chapter of the year award. Only 2 chapters in the whole world received this award, one from Asia Pacific, that is the EMBS Bangladesh chapter, and another is from Latin America. It's a huge honor, and this is between Bach section and IEEE Industrial Application Society chapter, IEEE PIACon, and this is IEEE Industrial Application Society Global technical co-sponsored, and where a lot of emerging technologies in the area of power and energy, electronics, industrial applications has been discussed. And this is between section and Robotics and Automation Society, IEEE Ryacon. And why we have done it, it is important not to discuss only the emerging technology, because sometimes it is not possible for us to bring to meet the speakers, especially for the young researchers who do not have research funding and travel support. So that's why in these co-located conferences, 4 conferences were in the same location, 18 keynote and invited speakers from 10 different countries arrived, that help our students to meet with them, to discuss with the research and find their PhD scholarship opportunities, so that they can be expert in emerging technology and come back to the country to serve developing the country. This is very important. Now, Derek, now it is COVID-19. Now it is more possible to do this such collaboration with your universities, so that we can connect more speakers to our community, to our university. It is very important. I told you I'm the founder of 4 technical society chapters in our section, and this is one of the chapters, IEEE SSIT, Society on Social Implications and Technology. Madras section has SSIT chapter. So to train our students about the implications of sustainable technology, we have developed this symposium for knowledge sharing, and 5 speakers from 5 different countries, USA, Japan, China, Hong Kong, and Bangladesh, have trained our younger generation. I have shown you these 4 technical conferences and 1 workshop and 1 winter school to let you know that how you will help your engineering community to develop and to inspire inspire to develop the research and other innovative items in emerging technologies area. So these are the resources you can share, and you can collaborate with me so that we can go to the next level. It is very important to know the industry needs. Sometimes industry people are telling then academicians has gaps, and also academicians still that it is industry people need to know many things. So to reduce these gaps, to have an industry academia collaboration, I invited CEOs of top telcos in the country, and also machine and machine learning companies, also communication companies, also power companies, also other utilities who are developing emerging technologies. I really call their senior general manager, vice chair, CEO, so that they can come together and they can tell what are the problems they're facing in the industry, and as an academician along with the students, how we can solve their problem, and how we can find the internship opportunities for our students. It is very important for them to involve with the industry from the undergraduate level, so that after the education of undergraduate, they have a good recruitment or placement. It is very important. If you want to start your research about robotics, and if you want to develop some drone or some emerging technologies for carrying food, or for providing medicine to the disaster area, then you must go for robotics emerging technology. I will request you to visit IEEE Robotics and Automation Society website to get the incentive grant, and we really got it, and start with the robotics hackathon, and that will inspire you to be a future and potential researchers. This is very, very important. And never forget the women, a big part of our community. As a women in engineering founder of Bangladesh, and from my experience to work as a women in engineering chair in whole Asia Pacific, and working as a chair of global committee of global women in engineering, I must say that it is important to train our women so that their ideas can be transformed into product. So this is a women to women empowerment challenge that we have organized, and where the women were requested to develop, to find a problem of women and then provide technological solution. They really provide the technological solutions based on their idea of signal processing, engineering, medicine, biology, industrial application, and other areas. And there are a lot of mentors. There are a lot of mentors and young, I should say, entrepreneurs who have helped them how they can transform their project ideas into products. This is very important because majority of our projects remain as projects and they cannot be taken in the entrepreneurship level. So that we really, to develop emerging technology and launch it in the market, we really want to work with the students, young professionals, mentors, entrepreneurs, and fundraisers, sponsors. So this is a platform. We should create the conference as a platform to connect our student to the future sponsors, though, so that they can be launched themselves with the entrepreneurship. So this is very important. We have been supported by our Secretary, Bangladesh High Tech Park Authority, Mrs. Hosneara Begum, NDC, who is a woman, and it is very important to get her support. And we are lucky, and we had keynote speaker Romeli, who was chair Women in Power, IEEE Power and Energy Society. And there are a lot of opportunities to know about emerging technologies such as IEEE Distinguished Lecture Program. This is Dr. Q from Wuhan, and he is a fellow of IEEE. He was our IEEE Industrial Application Society Distinguished Lecturer. It is a great honor to know about his work. You can Google him and to know about his contribution. He is a very supportive person. And I should say this is the highest challenge I have faced in my life. IEEE TENSIM 2020, which is the Regent and Flagship Conference, and we got, as a general chair, I served, and we got more than 1,000 papers in such a pandemic situation, and the problem was how we will do it. We really did it. More than 446 papers, more than 45 speakers, and there are a lot of parallel sessions like women in engineering, student activity, young professionals, and other. And we really did it successfully. This is the first virtual flagship online conference in Region 10. It is not only history for Bangladesh, it is a history for Region 10. Other organizers may follow it, and many people are following it, and at least at this moment I'm talking online, and there are different medias of Zoom, Google Meet, Google Teams. There are very different way, and it's a great honor that I can serve as the general chair of this amazing conference, which is Asia Pacific Flagship Conference. And thanks for your support. More than 1,000 people joined here to know about emerging technologies and to share these resources to train the future who are the conference organizer. We have launched virtual conference organizers panel VCOP on 1st to 2nd July. So it is a TENSIM 2020 post-conference initiative. I really invite the conference organizers around you to join and to contact with me so that they know about the challenges. They can share the expectation and they can know the possible solutions in a full virtual conference with respect to traditional face-to-face technical conference. And this is a great opportunity to share some of my hours 2013 Women in Engineering Professional Volunteer Award winner from IEEE Asia Pacific. We call it Region 10. Winner of 2015 Women in Engineering Inspiring Member Award from the Global WIE. In 2015, 2016, IEEE MGA Leadership Award, 2019, Region 10 Humanitarian Activities Outstanding Volunteer Award. So this is not only the list of the award, it is a list of commitment for me. And our section has passed 25 years, and as its first female chair, I received this banner of 25 years from then director, Professor Kubzin. It is a great moment, and it really inspired me to work hard to develop emerging technology and inspire others to do so. And I really led an application and won 2018 IEEE MGA Outstanding Leader Section Award. And it is a great moment among 160 countries, more than 350 sections. Our section has won this award based on their involvement in technical and professional activities. And it is always great to receive awards from IEEE presidents, IEEE Region 10 directors about women in engineering, best student branch, about the best student, about the best young professionals. And this gives me motivation to work more harder for developing technology and helping others to grow. And Women in Engineering group that I was the founder became the best one in the section, in the Asia Pacific, also best one in the whole world. And the Women in Engineering student branch, WIT, where I'm serving as a professor, and that student branch became best one in Asia Pacific, became the best one in region, in the whole world. It is an example that if you work for the group, your automatic award will come to you. So apart from technology, it is very important, the recognition. So I really request you to visit my website www.celiashanaj.com. Visit my Facebook page www.facebook.com Celia IEEE to know about me, to know about my research, know about my activities, and let me know how I can help you. I'm here to support you, and it will be great if we connect over online, and we can do many initiatives jointly like IEEE SpeaksCon, IEEE BasicCon, IEEE PIACon, IEEE RIACon, and IEEE Women to Women Empowerment Challenge, so that we can work and take the technology beyond borders. And this COVID cannot stop the spirit. It is very important to become more spirited and to make us more productive. So with that said, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me and having patience to listen to me. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your energetic talk. Now I request participant to post your queries in the chat box. Participant, if you have any queries, just post in the chat box.
Any question? You can always connect with me via messenger, via email, and I will be able to respond to you to your any queries. Okay, no problem. You can connect me anytime. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful and energetic talk. So I have shared many ideas about signal processing projects. Mainly, you shared project ideas about skin cancer, jaundice detection, image-based sign language, and walking assistant like a smart hat for people. These are very interesting and useful for various researchers, faculty members, students to carry out their projects. And also, you talked about various IEEE program activities like doing projects and fundings, attending various conference and publication details. Thank you so much, ma'am, which are very useful for researchers and faculty members. And also, you told about VCOP, which is also very useful for us for organizing virtual conference. Thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful session.
I really thank you because these are the projects, these are the projects which is our problems are same, right, everywhere. So these are the projects which can be shared. Since resources are there, all the projects we have are published, and you can search at Triple Explore to have those papers, and we really can have joint collaboration so that we can implement that in your local community also. I'm there to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, and also, I thank our management for arranging such a wonderful international conference. And also, I thank our head of the department, CSE, and the coordinators, conveners, and the faculty members for supporting us to arranging such a wonderful, nice talk by Dr. Celia ma'am. Thank you all. Last but not least, I thank all the participants for your patient listening. I hope you all enjoy the session and you all enjoy an energetic talk from Celia ma'am. And also, I thank Celia ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to you. Thank you, Prof. Vimal. Thank you, Prof. Kaliappan, and thank all the organizers, especially the participants. Okay. Take care. Take care. See you.
Uh,
Yes.
Thank you, Celia. This is Vimal. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you for invitation. Hope to connect, and please convey my message to all of your researchers, all your known people, and it will be great if you convey my message to all of them. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
sure, ma'am. Sure. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Take care. Take care. Bye now. Hope I wish a very successful and wonderful conference from your institute. Take care. Bye.
Bye.